Snail Wars. A relief of the giant body of Nautilon was pressed on one of the rock walls of tentacle rock in the middle of an extremely dry area of the savanna planet Neptulus. In the shade of this immense rock, a group of nautiloids had met, close to a rocket launch pad of giant size. There were the religious leaders of the nautiloids, celebrating their final step into outer space. What a big and glittering trail the snails would bring to the stars. How far they had come. The first nautiloids were petty beings, small, weak, ugly snails leaving their barely visible trails in the dry savannas of Neptulus. Icky and harmless, they were the perfect prey for all numbers of predators. The food they had sought for, no one would miss them. And they would not fight back. Then something had changed, and it is still a mystery what exactly it was. Something had changed in the minds of the small snails. They suddenly saw their strength. They saw their adaptability to almost every situation and climate. They suddenly realized they could be more than prey. Their shells had helped them survive against many enemies, and most importantly, their self-created microclimates inside the intricate biological masterpieces had enabled them to settle on almost every part of their predominantly dry planet, and that for a being more based on water than any other land entity. They saw their success and they grew. First on the inside in their multi-chambered hearts, then their ganglions had begun to send new signals into their minds. They were no longer prey. They were hunters. The predators had relied on the nautiloids for food and for excitement. They now met with a changed situation. A newfound persistence had inspired the little ugly snails. At the beginning it was outright laughable as they tried to physically overwhelm their hunters in big groups, but they failed for their lack of speed. But the groups had formed and thoughts had been exchanged. Thoughts about strengthening their shells, about using weapons, to make use of the speed that could be gained with the powers of nature. Something no one understood had happened, probably with the intervention of an unknown force. The snails had developed weapons that could throw concentrated lights, or rays toward the predatory enemies of the species. Fire had been born. The unknown force was perceived by the religious leaders of the nautiloids as Nautilon, a great tentacled snail-like being stemming from eons ago that had resided in the great seas, lakes, and immense rivers that had once been so common in the now dried-out world of Neptulus. Its powers were perceived as on a cosmic scale, and all technology the snails would discover was thought to be coming from his hands to his chosen people. Possessing the power of the elements, of the stars even, to fly or to swim, the great Nautilon was the symbol that united the nautiloids. But was he just a symbol? Somewhere in the last remnants of the great oceans on the poles of Neptulus, it was rumored that an unmeasurable body of water in a giant deep hole existed, filling the inner plains of Neptulus and being home to Nautilon. Nautilon, though, was sleeping. Only from time to time the priests and higher bishops of the nautiloids would sense a change in the forces of Neptulus, and then it was said that the dreamer had awakened again for a short moment, to share his wisdom with the nautiloids and to help them claim more of the universe. for his chosen ones, until his final awakening would come, where he would change the fabric of the universe itself and claim the full power of the stars again, to become the rightful ruler of the universe. He is not dead, but eternal sleeping, and he will rule when he awakens in the deep, deep seas, was one of the words that had been told again and again by the older Nautiloids that had preserved the tradition of religious stories from the elder ones. It was also in the book of Nautilon, the great golden thread behind the Nautiloid people. To prepare for the great awakening of Nautilon, the Nautiloids had to make the worlds safe for their people, to be able to give the great Nautilon all the strength they could muster. And now they had seen that the cold skies with the lights in the distance were full of worlds, some similar to their own, some utterly alien. What kind of dangerous life would be on them? They, though, the Nautiloids, they would never be prey again. They were hunters.